It's just about July, so let's do a reading for all 12 signs. This is going to be intended for your sun sign because pretty much everyone knows what their sun sign is. If not, you can easily look that up unless you don't happen to know the day you were born. Most people do. And if you want to also check out your rising and moon sign for additional context of like how this might be resonating for you in that regard, then definitely do that too. And so we're going to get started with the first section of this video is going to be the first 6 signs starting with Aries, and then we're going to do part 2. So you can check out part 1 and part 2 depending on what sign it is that you're looking for. So these are obviously the cards that are going to be used today. And I'm going to do a variety of cards and try that out and see how it goes for you for a reading. I haven't done that in a while. I think it's going to be very nice and exciting. So let's get started with Aries. We're going to start with Nature's Whispers. I'm going to shuffle, and I'm really excited for what's coming up for Aries. There's a lot of action moving through Aries right now with Neptune and Saturn. So your card is, okay, I wasn't planning how furry this thing was. I haven't taken this out in a while. It's really fun, but anyways, maintain your childlike spirit. So yeah, that kind of goes along with, feeling tactile things and just like enjoying your life in July. And maybe there is a reason why you need this card. Maybe like there's something that's like kind of, got you not down, but like, there would be reason for you to like kind of be a little more sober or something, and actually maybe it's more important for you to kind of compensate there to balance the scales with this kind of energy. And plus, I mean, like it's going to be Leo season and Jupiter's moving into Leo, and that's very much about like, your inner child and creative healing and that innocence to love. So that's a very nice card for your twin flame journey. And then we're going to pull a card from the Psychic Tarot for the Heart for Aries. So let's see what this is. This is kind of a fun way of doing the video. It's a little weird though, so I'm just like getting used to it. Just trying to think of an easy setup that I like, that you might like too for looking at cards. This is Rest and Reconsider. So it looks like you're gonna go play in the park and take a nap all July, Aries. So enjoy that. Those are your cards. I think that's I think that's great. So I'm gonna put those off to the side so that we get actually different cards for each one. And then we're gonna move on now to Taurus. So Taurus, this is going to be your reading for July. And oops, I'm doing the chakra cards to start out for you. Let's get that going. Okay. Ooh, how nice. Inspiration, and this is your sacral chakra, an orange color, so it's inviting you to pay attention to what inspires you. The card itself kind of has July vibes. It looks like it could be a sunset in the summertime. Although I guess if you're, in the part of the world where it's wintertime, then still inspiration and sacral chakra. So that is going to lead the way that you approach July if you want to follow the advice of this reading. And like that's going to help you to overcome your blocks and challenges, but it's also going to enhance what's going well for you. Because I think, you've just built up a lot of energy with transits going through, and having finished up in Taurus, and now you're kind of able to ground some of that and yeah, be inspired. So I think that's very cool. And then let's pull a Psychic Tarot of the Heart card for you. Your card, drum roll, Strengthening Bonds. This feels very Taurus energy to me, like, you know, just the look of it and everything. I do picture a Taurus really enjoying this environment more than maybe any other sign. You know, it's like some would argue the most sign related to literal nature, the earth sign that's related to that. But either way, this is great. Strengthening bonds. So that can happen. Yeah. You know, you think of strengthening bonds as with people, but maybe it's strengthening the bond with yourself and your own inspiration, or both. And that then flows over into your business, into your family, into your twin flame union, and all of these things. So I think that's a beautiful message for you. I love that. Now we're going to move on to Gemini. So Gemini, this one's for you. We're going to start yours with a uh, Psychic Tarot for the Heart. Sorry, there were people talking. There's like never really, like, it's usually quiet, so I'm surprised that when I just, like, the moment, of course, I go to do a reading is the moment when there needs to be someone talking. It's just funny, like around here. I mean, it's not that close by, but it distracted me. So maybe, Gemini, it's time to just observe and to, like, let yourself, you know, if you're distracted, be distracted. If there's something in your environment, rather than like reacting to it, really center yourself, and that's going to help you make the most of your July, is having this kind of really like non-attached approach, and taking that curiosity and channeling it into a little bit more of a like less involved, maybe you've been like, you know, putting a lot of energy forth into something recently, and it's not that you should stop, but it's might be good to take a step back and to like calm your nerves a bit, you know. And then let's pull a card from Nature's Whispers. All right, so this card is Higher Ground. So yeah, I mean, I think it goes really nicely as well, where it's just like, oh, you can't see it. There you go. Yeah, it's like you just kind of observe, and then that's going to help you naturally get on the higher ground, which is, you know, pretty much where you always want to be. Not to be better than someone else, of course, but just to, you I mean, like, who doesn't want to be uh feeling like they did everything they could, like they did their best, they lived their, you know, the best to their integrity. I mean, I do. And so yeah, if that's you as well, then go ahead and, you know, for best results of being on your higher ground, which is naturally going to manifest what you want anyway too, and like your next step, even if it's not exactly what you were hoping for. It's important to have, again, a more observational perspective of what you're calling in to support you right now, and why it is that that might be, you know, what's happening, whether it's exactly what you expected or not. So yeah, the combination is really nice and a little more on the, you know, peaceful side, quiet, peaceful. I like that. So now we are going to do Gemini, Cancer. So Cancer, we're going to start out with Nature's Whispers. Actually, I think that's like a most important card for you right now. I'm just like shuffling these cards a lot, so they're going to be really shuffled. Amplify your positive emotions. Wow, this is like such a good card for Cancer, the sign of Cancer. It's like, you know, generally considered ruling lakes and stuff. This might be more of a river or stream, but yeah, kind of similar to the Aries card, but amplify your positive emotions. It doesn't mean like you need to necessarily always be looking for the silver lining in everything or squeeze every drop out of everything, but it's just about like really, you know, being able to be present in that place within you that does feel positive and isn't going to get like kind of sucked into drama or more chaotic kinds of energy. And I think that's really going to help support your best July for you. And then let's see what your card here is going to be. Actually, the bottom card really stuck out to me. So I think this is, I mean, it's just so perfect anyway. So this is going to be nurturing. And I think that it's really speaking to extra emphasis for you on Jupiter entering Leo. So that's going to be like a nice transit for you where you really get to probably nurture yourself this over the course of this year, actually, even though this reading is really for July. So really like look out for ways to do that and create systems, you know, for yourself that help you do that even more than usual. And I think that's what's going to help you have the best July of your life. And for your twin flame journey, like it just like really speaks to how you're going to attract your twin flame romance, you know, more deeply to whether or not that's something you're like, you know, really focused on. I think it's just important to like realize that like if you're really loving yourself, that is what you're like calling in. So now we're going to move on to Leo. Leo, let's start out with the Psychic Tarot for the heart. All right. We've got Seek. Seek and you shall find, right? So that is an interesting card because, you know, it's going to be like Leo season and we have a lot of Leo, you know, Leo energy happening about now with the astrology. But this card is actually inviting you, again, probably to balance that. I say again because it's kind of similar to what I was saying for Aries where it's like, and that's another fire sign, maybe there it's a time to kind of balance out something else that's occurring, you know, in your reality for July, where maybe there is some, you know, interest, some excitement, some creative flow, but like take some time out to like meditate or whatever that kind of seeking energy means for you. I think meditation is fairly universally accepted at this point as being like kind of a important thing to do. Personally, I think it should be if it's not, but that's like maybe in my world it is. I don't know. So then we have pause in case you needed more reinforcement of this. And this is from Nature's Whispers. In case you, needed more reinforcement of like, you know, this kind of quieting, peaceful energy and cultivating that. It's, you know, safe for you to give yourself a break. It's making me want to just even slow down my speech looking at this card. So yeah, I think that it's going to be very nice for you to be able to do that. So that's your reading for July and how to manifest your best July for your twin flame journey and, you know, magnetize your everything to you that you're really calling in for the next level. So that was Leo's reading. Now we're moving on to Virgo. We're going to start out with, Nature's Whispers. Got another earth sign in the house. So I think that's a good way to ground the message for you for July for your twin flame journey. Leap of faith. Well, that is very almost ungrounded, just grounded by a spiderweb string. That's funny because I reposted a video recently of, I don't think it might have been the 2005. That's what someone said, but I don't, I'm not 100% sure. But some kind of uh, acrobatics where this woman was attempting a stunt, flipping in the air several times. And she totally ate it. Like the first time, like I was like, oh, yikes. And then the crowd was cheering her on. It was really cute. And then she did it again. Same thing, even kind of worse that time in a way. I think at that point, they zoomed in on her. It's not funny, but her leg bleeding a little bit. And then sure enough, she did it one last time, and she did it was amazing. It was like absolutely beautiful. I mean, I would never, but like I really respect that. And I think like the message there was a part of what made it so amazing to watch was like the failure at first. I mean, like it really was a part of the story. I think it's kind of hard to argue. It was beautiful unto itself. But there was some kind of added like depth and like something very relatable, and I don't know. Um yeah, kind of emotional, definitely an emotional appeal in that process of success. So I think this card is really the same thing, and it's number 22, and I think it's about like really continuing to lay your foundation, but also not being afraid when that means taking a leap of faith, and that like you are supported. And even if it's something where you couldn't quite do it before, like if it's something your heart truly desires, just like ensure your support system is in place to catch you, but like don't be afraid to do it. And I think that's how you're going to have your best July. And I'm assuming that you have some idea yourself of what that's referring to in your own personal reality. And then, oh, this is kind of falling off the side there. Then we have a chakra card for you, and it is Mother Earth. So that's nice. I think that's a great balance. I love the way these cards look together, also against the more black background. A lot of contrast, but in a really powerful way. So yeah, then when you take the leap of faith, it helps you ground even deeper, I think is really the message here. And I love that for you. So that is your message, Virgo.